First, I would like to thank Professor Sitabra Sinha for inviting me. As always, I am very happy to be at the Institute of Math Science because there has been connection since the time of Airavata Mahadevan. We used to meet a lot then. And my area is of course print culture. Even though it's print culture, I am starting with the inscriptions, and I know there is already a well informed audience. I see people who know a lot about inscriptions. I'm not going to dwell too much into inscriptions, but I will browse through. Okay, well, let me start with graffiti. Initial writing in Tamil Nadu starts with graffiti marks, which are basically symbols or signs, and we believe that it is a writing system, and we have still not deciphered. There's a lot of work going on now. Nearly 15,000 graffiti inscribed potshelds have been discovered in the state here in almost 140 sites, and nearly 1,570 potshelds bearing Tamil script, I mean Tamili script or Tamil Brahmi, have been discovered all over Tamil Nadu in 47 sites, and the important corpus of Tamil inscriptions on on rocks have been already produced by late Airavata Mahadevan, and I think about 87 in the first edition. I am not sure in the second edition how many extra has been found. I am not, sorry? 102. 102, okay. All right, thank you. That's what in the rock that's been given here. Anyway, so, and even though the rock inscriptions date back up to I think 3rd century BCE, but the potshelds go back much earlier in time, at least till 6th century BCE. And these are Tamil Brahmi inscriptions. Earlier what you saw was graffiti, and this is Tamil Brahmi inscriptions, or nowadays it is called as Tamili in this part of the country. And here some of the, this is from the 2nd edition of early Tamil epigraphy. One of the inscriptions from Jambai is a Tamil inscription. This is an example of that. And sorry. This is one of the earliest one from 3rd century BC.
Any location?
Jambai.
Okay, so I mean, where is it?
Tamil Nadu.
Is it any cave or?
It's a rock inscription. It's a cave, yeah. And of course, the Tamil script, the modern Tamil script, evolved from Tamil Brahmi, and that's what is on the left hand side is Ashokan Brahmi, and the center is from the early Tamil epigraphy book we have copied, and you can see the evolution which is produced by given by Airavata Mahadevan. Then in time, I think this is almost 6th century CE, we find Pallava Grantha inscriptions. We call it Grantha because there are some special characters. These characters are not available in Tamil language and in Tamil script. So, they were designed for representing some of the sounds in other languages in Tamil, and these are those characters. It's a subset of what's called as now the Tamil corpus, and these were evolved during the Pallava time, I think around the Pallava time, and you can see this. You can in the Roja Muthiah Research Library we have nearly 800 imprints containing Tamil Grantha script and text on Grantha, in Grantha. And in between, we have this what is called a Tamil Vatteluth or cursive writing, which also evolved from the Brahmi script. And what you see on the left hand side is from Tanjavur Periyakoil, the Brihadeshwara temple. And on the right side is a copper plate. Both are Vatteluth, cursive writing in Tamil. And one of the Vatteluth script in palm leaf on the top, and this is on the bottom is the modern Tamil writing in palm leaf, what is found in palm leaves. In palm leaves we have both Vatteluthu as well as modern writing. I think modern writing probably it emerged from the 14th, 15th century onwards. See, in the center you have the Tamil Brahmi, and you see how Vatteluthu has evolved, and you can see how the modern Tamil has evolved from this. Now, I would like to focus on the print culture in, I say India, but actually I am going to focus only on Tamil. Incidentally, the first South Asian, the first language that went on print was in Tamil, and the South Asia Burma retrospective bibliography, which was compiled by Graham Shaw from the British Library. He compiled between 1556 and 1800 in South Asia, all the languages, all language imprints, and in that we found we were able to produce a graph, and you see the different languages, and Tamil we have almost 266 next to English, and you also have Sinhalese next to Tamil, and other languages like Bengali, Konkani, Malayalam and so on. So, this is only up to 1800. After 1800, it's a bit of a problem. It's very difficult to get the exact number because we don't have, nobody has produced compiled it fully. In fact, the Rojamute Research Library has, we have tried to compile it, and we are in the process of compiling it.
Were all of this printed in India?
I'm sorry?
Were all of this printed in India or?
All printed in India. I'm only talking about what was printed in India. Except the first Tamil that was printed in Portugal.
Huh.
That was just immediately after that it was printed in Goa. This is, I'm not talking much about the Catholic missions here, but I'm going to talk about the Danish Halle mission. Just to briefly mention, initially even though printing started in 1556, it was on the western coast. By the Catholic missionaries, mostly by Portuguese. It started in Goa, and then it spread almost to the Malabar coast, to the entire Malabar coast, and it went on till for about 150 years, and after that there was a lull, and then came the Danish mission. It's actually called Danish Halle mission or Danish German mission, because the Germans, Danish, they gave the money, they gave the grant, but there was no one to go from Denmark. So people came from Halle. There was a foundation called Franke Foundation, and from that place, 2 people came, and one of them is this man called Ziegenbalg, Bartholomew Ziegenbalg, who came to the Tranquebar coast, and he settled there for a while. He came to Tranquebar in the year 1706, and he set up a printing press there. The printing press came from England. It was given by Society for the Propagation of Christian Knowledge, SPCK, and with the help of SPCK, he set up the press, and he also set up a foundry near Tranquebar. It's called Porayar, in a place called Porayar. He set up a foundry there, and he published from that region. Actually, print culture sort of spread from Tranquebar to different parts of Tamil Nadu, and then to the different parts of India. Ziegenbalg, 1706, he landed in 1706. The first imprint from Tranquebar coast was in 1712.
He lived and died in Tarangambadi.
That is right.
In the church they have buried him.
Yes, that is right.
And the typefaces in Tamil that were developed by him is what
Yes,
I've read.
actually it was developed earlier itself. As I said, the Catholic missionaries in the western coast, they developed it. It was woodcut. Originally it was woodcut.
Okay.
But it was movable type. This press, of course, you see that's a movable type, and this is a woodcut imprint, and this is from 1713 in the Tranquebar. region. So, printed by, of course, Ziegenbalg. And you see how it's very similar to the modern Tamil, and since then they standardized. Actually, printing technology helped standardize our script. So, this is some of the early periodicals which I wanted to mention, from starting from 1806. There's been publishing, apart from books, I'm saying periodicals. You have the earliest Tamil is, of course, Sudesamithran, that's that we get to see now. But before that, we have Dinavardhamani, Udayadityan, Morning Star, which was published in Jaffna. It was a bilingual. In Tamil, it was called Udayataragai. In English, it is Morning Star. So, it's a bilingual magazine. And of course, the English titles are here from Madras Courier. We don't get to see most of these things except Madras Times or Madras Mail. Madras Mail, I think the entire print copy is still with the owners here. I mean, the owners are there. I think there were 4 or 5 owners. The last owner is the Simpson group of companies, and they have everything here. And it was also microfilmed by Nehru Memorial Museum. Unfortunately, some of the originals were lost there. So, I think it's not a complete run right now. But
it was in circulation till quite recently.
Till recently, yes. And Madras Mail, you have copies in the British Library, and one preservation copy is in Chicago. That much I know. But unfortunately, we don't have here in Chennai. I mean, not for circulation. Since some of you are interested in fonts and typefaces, I thought I'll show this. You see how Tamil script has evolved from 1578 till recently. So, you see 1578, 1713, 1812 and 1913, almost it is getting standardized. By the early 20th century, it was standardized. And there has been various efforts, beginning with people like, yes please.
I mean, it could be a casual observation, but I've seen a lot of italic over representation in Tamil.
I'll come to the bit, to that a bit, right? Please reserve the question, I will talk about it. So, there were many players. You see, so many foundries were there, typeface companies, and well known to this region is what's called as Nelson Manikam. Now, there is a road in the name of Nelson Manikam Mudaliar, and they had a foundry which was lasting for a very long time, and they specialized in some of unique fonts for not fonts, I should say typefaces, because it was printing at that time. And they experimented a lot, especially with the slightly tilted version. There is no idea of italicization or capitalization in Tamil script like it is in English, but they try to adapt something like that. And for a very long time, this writing straight was not used in Tamil, at least till the middle of 20th century. They had a slight tilt. That actually, that's the way people wrote, like you saw in that palm leaf manuscript. That's how it was written, and they tried to standardize using that. The original standardization took place in Europe, not in India. Then it was brought here, and this was all these were designed by Europeans to begin with. When Nelson Manikam started foundry, they tried with some Indian artists.
So the font was designed by Nelson Manikam?
His company, Typeface.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
in computer we use the term fonts.
Yeah.
And before computers arrival, it is typeface.
Right. So
yeah.
Is it known who the designer was, the original designer?
No, unfortunately, we are not able to get such information. We are trying to, talk to the family, but we couldn't get any information. That knowledge people had, it's lost with that generation. Unfortunately, it's not archived anywhere. see, some of the fonts they tried Atom. This is a font. When it comes to computer, one of the fonts in the initial phases, they tried to play with that, and they brought out this font. In Tamil, two important people have contributed to Reformation. What we use today is the script that we use today is after the Reformation by Virama Munivar or Beski, Father Beski and E.B. Ramaswamy Periyar, called as Periyar. They have contributed. Beski said when he wrote in Tamil, what you call in palm leaves or in inscriptions, when there is a longer vowel, like when we use this shorter and longer vowel, A or A, he used that small tilt, that line below, there is a ligature there, he has used that to represent that longer one. Earlier, it was not there. So, the shorter one was given twice. So, conventionally you will be able to read as A instead of A. If it is presented one time, then it is A. If it is double, then it is A. That is how conventionally people read. Even though that concept is not presented in Tamil grammar, but in writing it was there. And similarly for O, Beski slightly gave a curve at the end of the letter, which made it as a longer vowel, O. And like Periyar introduced a lot of reformations, like you see how the older one is there and the reformed one is there. What we use now is what is in the center. It's unfortunately it is I'm sorry, it's in Tamil. The corrected one is in the center.
Was this too? I mean, this was the convention in Devanagari as well, right? To make it A, you put something in front, and then to make it O, you put the dirgham on the right.
I see.
So was he adapting to that?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So that's from Brahmi itself.
Okay. So he was adapting to Brahmi.
The diacritical notation for all the letters come from Brahmi itself. I only talk.
When it comes to the digital landscape, you know, it started with many encoding schemes here. Almost nearly 45 encoding schemes were there before Unicode was accepted, and now it is all Unicode. And there are many players like CDAC, Government of India. In the early 90s, at least when we started our work cataloging, we depended heavily on CDAC's hardware. At that time it was a hardware. We used to plug in a hardware to type Tamil script, and then it was replaced by a shell, a dongle outside. Earlier it was in the first phase it was the hardware which we used to insert inside the computer. Then a dongle came which was externally plugged, and that will change the script. In fact, you could change it to any script, any European script, from Tamil to European or European to Tamil. That was possible. Then as everything got progressed, internet and Unicode was accepted. There were other places like Kaniyam is one of the initiatives of Government of Tamil Nadu, and Murasu Anjal. Murasu was a Malaysian based Tamil who worked on heavily on font making, script, language inputs for computer and is represented by the Tamil letter Mu, Murasu. And after that you have hundreds and hundreds of fonts now, but except a few fonts, I wouldn't say all the fonts were research based, and it has become like a cottage industry now. Anybody who knows how to make a glyph and use the software, they started creating fonts. So when I say it is not scientific, I mean I would like to compare this with an English example. Let's say if you take Times Roman or Gill Sans or Helvetica, there is a procedure how they have made these fonts. For instance, if you see a font in 10 point, if you see a point and 70 point, then it will proportionately expand and the inter-character spacing will be even. It is all well studied and programmed, but these fonts in Tamil were not like that. So that is why, you know, even we saw this problem, this lacuna is there, and we started a Tamil font studio in our library. And now we have been working on a body text. We have just completed one body text for Tamil, and now we are working on a header font. We will be releasing the body text very soon. Why is this important? It is important because in publishing, you need this. English has very easy. They have spent a lot of money and created wonderful fonts. But in Tamil, there are not many people spending money on font making. So there are many challenges. For instance, if you see a text being justified, center, left center, right center, all these are possible in English. But when you do this for Tamil, there are many challenges. For instance, if you make it left indent, you will see some of the center, words are very long. You don't know where to cut the word. There is no proper hyphenation dictionary. There is no proper spell checker also in Tamil. So there are many challenges. When you use a professional software like Adobe for typesetting, it won't be aesthetically presented. So you have to physically adjust the words to make it aesthetically look better. So it is not automatically done like it in English. Yeah, each word sometimes or many times, that's a problem. So that is what we are trying to address now. So we have to take care of these aspects while making while you are involving in making a font. Now Google has some fonts, very good fonts, developed by many people, but they have bought the fonts and they are giving it free for people to use. So the role of the library, Rojamuthia Research Library, is to collect all these things, and it's a repository of print culture. From the earliest available print material, we have tried to collect everything and make it available for people to make use of them. There are many collections that has come into the library. Now we have nearly 500,000 items in the collection. This is up to books printed in Tamil up to 1957. You see what is presented in South Asia Burma retrospective bibliography, and then there is a Madras State bibliography. You compared against our collection. So the collection is still growing, but you know it's not, the number is not really very high. That's what I am trying to show it in here. So to preserve so many number of books is not very difficult. This is only about books, not about periodicals. If you add the periodicals, it's that nearly, I think, about 15,000 periodical titles have come in Tamil. This is the first classical literature that went on print in the year 1812, and they have simply copied as it is in the palm leaf, meaning Tamil has this unique, one of the unique things about Tamil is it has pulli. Over the consonant there is a dot. That dot will not be seen in this book. So that is because if you put a pulli, if you put a dot, the palm leaf will tear. So they avoided presenting pullis in palm leaves. So they simply copied as it is in the palm leaf. So this is the only copy that is available without a pull leaf so far I have seen.
So the palm leaf copies doesn't have this pulley?
No.
So what was the version before that?
Before what?
Stone inscriptions, pottery inscriptions.
So you had Tirukural in
So the
No.
pulley or the dot
Mhm.
has been used from the Brahmi times,
Okay.
but it had to be dropped in the case of the palm leaf manuscript because it will damage the palm leaf committee.
Right. But
If you make a hole
mm-hmm.
in the palm leaf
I was
manuscript,
clear.
yeah. So
But then people adopted it again.
people know
Yeah.
to supply the pulley when they read it.
when print culture came, it was easy to introduce Pulli. It's just a dot, right?
As a layman reader, when they will read this one, whether they will feel difficulty to read
No.
pronunciation.
I mean, there was no difficulty at all, absolutely no difficulty, because when you read by convention, you will know what is as a prefix, what is a suffix. By convention, you will get to know that.
So if we don't, I mean, this is probably a stupid doubt, but if you don't need the pulley to read it, then why did people reintroduce it back?
Because you can avoid one letter.
Oh,
Or actually, Pulli is the first grammar text which was written some 2000 years back, talks about Pulli. So it's part of the inherent part of the language. So why avoid that? And it is unique. Yeah, please.
There is a fundamental difference between Tamil lettering and all other languages. Because based on Sanskrit, even though Telugu, other languages, the Dravidian languages are related to Tamil, the same family, they all use conjunct consonants, right? So conjunct, for example, suppose I say Sanjaya, the inj becomes the equivalent of the pulli there. In Sanskrit and all Indian languages, the inj would go on top, there is no need to pulli, and the ja would go below, right? So suppose you say Channa, so you put the na on top and the na below, so that two nas represent inna, right? In Tamil, from the beginning, they never put two letters on top of it. They put one letter to the left and one letter to the right, and the dot indicates that the a sound is removed. It's a negative marker, right? So that works for conjunct consonant. So if you write Sanjaya, you put inj here, ja next to it, rather than on top of each other. So you had a pulli and no vertical stacking in Tamil. In all other Indian languages, you have vertical stacking for conjunct or for this double letter. In Tamil, you have it next to each other. You will never see any vertical stacking. The only place where you see it is when Grantham is used in Tamil. Then you will see vertical stacking. That is when Sanskrit words are written in Tamil. In the Tamil text, Sanjaya is not a Tamil word.
okay, yeah.
So suppose you have a word like that and you word used like Sanjaya, in Grantham when they read, they would put the in ja on top of each other.
So they do that now.
In Grantham. When you write Grantham words, but not in Tamil.
Nice.
Yeah.
In Kannada, it is not like that, sir. Sometimes, as Sir says, a ka, you get a small ka down. Otherwise, there are so many differences. For example, Chandra, cha, 0, da, and you have a moon, half moon like thing. So like that, there are so many things, But this big letter and small letter coming to make a bigger sound, I mean, it's also there in Kannada, but there are 20 combinations and clusters, which uses totally different things.
Yeah, as he says, and just to add to that, what Gopi said is that writing system was much later, but Tamil has a history of writing much earlier. Anyway, now I am talking about the collection of the library. We have nearly 48 titles have been classified as Tamil, classical literature in Tamil, and we have all the 48 titles, first editions of all the titles, and you see goes back to 1837. See, publishing was banned for natives till 1835. Only the British could publish, or it has to be the missionaries. But if you see this book, this was printed in 1812. I really don't know how they printed this book. It was printed by one mutt, Saiva mutt. And after the ban was lifted, people started publishing. And that's the first Sangam literature, Kalitogai, that was printed in Tamil. You have a question?
So the British administration put on the ban.
Yeah, there was a ban, yes, before that.
There was ban on the word.
I see.
And then once the ban was lifted, you could see the kind of, there was a big boom in printing, and not only classical text, they also started printing school textbooks around the same time. And this particular genre of literature, folk literature, is a very, very interesting 20th century phenomenon. It's all historical information presented in a ballet form. The first one is a nillukutu, meaning paddy pounding. It's about how they pound paddy, right? And second one is People's Park Sindh. The British government set up a number of People's Park. The idea of park, public spaces, comes with, apart from from our traditional thing, temples were public spaces. Then, with British period, they brought in the public parks. And this particular ballet talks about how the father is taking his daughter with him to the park, and whatever they see, the child is asking the father a number of questions, and the father is answering. It's in poetry form. Early 20th century literature. Similarly, about train, when trains were introduced in India, there are songs about train, and it has factual information about how much money was spent on the train, how the track was laid, and how people saw it. So it's a very interesting genre of literature. The last one on the right side is about toddy shop. So with the coming of the coffee shop, the toddy shops were becoming less popular, and they were also closed. So the husband, the ballet is between the husband and the wife. The husband is so sad that the toddy shops are being closed, but the wife is so happy that it is closed and that the coffee shops are coming in. So it is about that.
What is the title of the second slide, sir?
People's,
Father with the daughter.
People's Park, Vali Nadaichindi.
Huh?
People's Park,
Huh.
Vali Nadaichindi. And this indigenous medicine, we have a number of books on that. We have books on Siddha, Ayurveda, and Unani. Nearly 2,000 titles on Siddha medicine is at the library. I think whatever was presented was available in palm leaves have been converted into print, and that is all available now. Except maybe a few things, and just some private people may be having some palm leaf manuscripts containing some prescriptions which we don't have. Otherwise, most of it has already been published.
Were they sold to people?
Sorry?
Were they sold to people or distributed?
I don't know how they, initial days how it was, but I don't think it was sold, because these things, especially medicine, it was kept as a secret. But some people thought, it should be preserved for posterity, and they thought paper will be there forever, and they printed it. And we also have what's called as veterinary medicine, early veterinary practices like branding cattle, horses, all those things are presented there. Some of the signs are similar to the signs in Indus script. And all kinds of religious literature, Buddhism, Jainism, Christian literature, Islamic literature, all that is available. The second one from the left is Arunodayam, which is an 18th century, it was started in 18th century in Tranquebar, and that was published for a very long time. And caste-based periodicals, you name the community, they had a periodical. It was like that. So, to study caste, this is one of the important collections. And rational literature like Paguttarivu, Tattva-Vesini. Tattva-Vesini is one of the earliest one. It was also a bilingual periodical. In English it was called Thinker. And this is progressive publishers, books by progressive publishers. In Tamil it was called Munnetra Padipagam. A lot of children's literature at this time, and lovely beautiful fonts were used, typefaces were used to print this.
this printed in the USSR?
Yes, mostly.
So they have developed some
They developed.
fonts.
Yes, it was all done there. And popular culture, you have on theatre, cinema.
What year?
From we have material from early 20th century in theatre. Even the silent era films, we have all the, I mean not all, most of the pamphlets related to silent era films. And in the absence of the original films, see the archive, the National Archives in Pune is supposed to have all the original films. And,
was a play.
sir?
It was a play.
Yes, it was a play. Many plays were made into films. Tuku Tuki, Gule Bagavali, all these were plays. Even Manohara was a play. And I was saying the National Archives is supposed to preserve all the material, but they don't have everything. The 1940 film alone, I think there were about 12 films which is making the rounds, and all the films are not available in India. We only have copies of these 12 films that's available now. Then Gandhian studies, gender studies, some of the early periodicals. You know, if you see some people who are interested in studying advertisements, you see the Hindu carries in the first page advertisements. It's not just it's a current phenomenon. They did this even in the beginning itself. Sudesamitran. And little magazine, there was a period where we had, you know, intellectuals started these magazines, which they wanted to, from the mainstream magazine, they wanted to be aloof and they wanted to focus on literary and art practices. So, all those modern periodicals are there. Then cinema, audio collection, we also have a gramophone record collection and vinyl records, photographic collection, this is from cinema, early cinema. Invitations, we have about nearly 70,000 invitations. It can be wedding invitation or it can be an invitation for any function, household function or a party. Drama notices, cinema posters. We have about 3,000 cinema posters in the collection. Then we started microfilming at one point to preserve everything, and then we moved on to digitization. These are some of the art lithographs. Calendar art was very popular at one point. Now of course you use a lot of Photoshop. Earlier Sivakasi was the place where they used to make all this calendar art. And
The film poster looked fairly recent.
sorry?
The film poster looks fairly recent.
That is recent, yes. On the top left is the calendar art, and bottom is a poster.
Do you collect
So,
new
yes,
ones?
we also collect this. And these are some of the logos of these early publishers. This itself is a very interesting area in the study logos, mastheads, stamps, advertisements. Hundreds and thousands of advertisements are there, and many scholars come to study advertisements. So, we are going to set up this a museum of print culture at the library. Right now, we used to function on the next road in the first building, which is empty now. We demolished the building. I was telling Sitabra about it. We are going to build a new campus, have a new campus, and that campus will be called as Tamil Knowledge Campus, which will comprise of the Rojamuthe Research Library, the Indus Research Center, the Center for Study in Public Sphere, the Tamil Font Study, and all other activities in the new campus. And we will also have a gallery where we will have a museum of print culture, and In fact, when I was looking for a print museum, I don't want to call this as a print museum. We want to call it as a museum of print culture, because in a print museum you should usually have, usually they have print missions. When I was looking for a print mission museum, I originally thought Calcutta should have it. I talked to people at Serampore and found that they don't have one. Accidentally, when we were traveling in Cuttack, from Bhubaneswar to Cuttack, we found this printing museum in Cuttack. That's the only museum that's available in the whole of India. They have almost all the missions since the beginning, since the Cuttack mission press was set up there, till up until the modern missions. They have everything.
What is the second one?
It's a printing mission, sir. It's a fairly recent one. This was in the 80s. What you see on the left is. Sorry?
In the size of a judicial magistrate court, a printer is laying there. I mean, like, it is what
I see.
It's same type of printer.
Thank you for that information. I will look for that.
Size of a judicial magistrate court, I think, court number 23.
Okay.
At the entry, sir, it will be rotted. I mean, rotted state. It's still lying there.
Okay.
like a tank, military tank. It will be like that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. If you have.
Sir, the early Brahmi script to modern Tamil, the metamorphosis of the modern Tamil to Brahmi Tamil, how much time it took?
2000 years.
2000.
You said you talk about
the typing machine வந்த உடனே அது வருது. அதுதான் மெயினான ரீசன்.
இல்லை அவர் பிரிண்டிங் மிஷின் பிரிண்டிங் ப்ரெஸ் வச்சுருந்தார். அதனால் அது டைப்பிங்னால வந்தாலும் எனக்கு தெரியல. ஏன்னா டைப்பிங்கில் அந்த பழையதும் உண்டு.
So why, I mean, it may not be connected. Why there are so many, in alphabet, so many letters are missing in Tamil, which is available in Kannada and Telugu?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not an expert in that field. I think maybe somebody who is an expert should talk about that.
You said you'll talk about the slanted font.
Yes, thank you. See, there is no italicization in Tamil. For many scripts, it's not there. But they adopted this method in Europe. They thought that this had a beauty in it. So a slightly tilted form was adapted for Tamil. For a very long time this was used. But now with the introduction of fonts, some people are trying to attempt italicization in Tamil. It's not working out. It's not looking so good. So it's not actually not necessary for Tamil. A slight tilt is beautiful, but if you tilt much further, the beauty is lost. So the tilt, the angle of tilt is very important. So you should stop somewhere. Also, why do we have to make fonts since it's already there? Typefaces can be simply copied. You can place an argument like that. The argument now what we are trying to make is, when in Europeans started making these fonts, for instance, if you write pa in Tamil, you have to go like this. That's how we write. But Europeans, they did this. They put the dash and then they went up and brought the line down. So the writing is like that. So for many things, many letters, they wrote like that. So it's not natural to Tamil.
When you print,
you don't see, but
is the stroke with
the stroke will be different if you write from top to bottom, from bottom to right.
One will be thicker, the other will be.
Yeah. So that is why we are trying to work on Tamil fonts uniquely, because Tamil system is different and each language has its own uniqueness.
So you want to sort of mimic the natural writing.
Yes.
Sir, I think the whole Roman script, let's take, common English, it has got 4 kind of letterings, small letter, capital letter, about 4 types, but only we learned the capital letters. and you have to put capital letters when you start a sentence or a noun or something like that. But it is not possible in any South Indian languages and North Indian languages. Maybe in Russian language they have. And to write, you have to use a different Russian language. To read, you have to use a different Russian language.
Correct.
Alphabet.
Yes, so it is a big challenge. We don't, for instance, in some English books, for that matter also in Tamil, you will see the first letter will be a bigger one, and then they start writing smaller. If you attempt that in any Indian script, it's a problem, it's a challenge. So that is what we are trying to work on now. How do you adapt that to a particular language? No, it's not necessary, but it has a beauty in it. So if you want to try that, then you have to work on it. It's not like writing. Printing is unique, so you have to work on it. I mean, there is a choice whether you want to use or you don't want to use. It is only in typesetting, in design, you will have to present all the choices for people. It's for people to choose what they want to do, how they want to write. Yes, please.
My question is more on the preservation and the sourcing bit that the library does. First of all, congratulations, because the variety I think is great. So at least for the ones that are stemming from, like say, the 16th or the 17th century, I'm more intrigued to know what was the sourcing process and how early did that sourcing happen. The one that you have as a part of your collection.
First of all, we don't have any 16th century material. We only have from early 18th century, the original I am talking about, right? And as far as the older material is concerned, it is not a threat, it is not a major problem, because the paper that was used to print and the ink that was used to print was all much better at that time. For instance, the handmade paper that was used, since you would have worked on paper, so you will know this. So it's, the fiber that was used was very good, and the water quality to use to make paper was very good at that time. With the mass production of paper, unfortunately, you know, and on the water source was not really very good. So there was a lot of acid in paper. So we have to worry about that from late 19th century or early 20th century onwards. As far as sourcing is concerned, the original collection belonged to one person called Roja Muthaya from Kottayur. He had collected nearly 50,000 books and 50,000 other items, and which became the nucleus for this collection, and it was purchased by the University of Chicago in 1994, and it was established here along with a trust called Mori Trust. And Mori and university worked together for nearly 10 years, and Mori withdrew, and we formed a trust in the name of Roja Muthaya Library Trust, and since then we have been working on this and expanding the collection.
We have one in Tranquebar, right?
Oh.
Set up during the Singapore times.
Yeah, that is there, but I don't know, did they set up a paper? I know about the
No, I don't think so.
foundry.
There's a paper mill right outside
Okay.
Tranquebar.
Then which means that must be the oldest one.
Oh.
Are you open for acquiring some old books? I have some 1920s, 30s.
Yes, we are.
Early 1810s
Yeah.
books at home.
Sure, we are open, and we have been, as I said, we are expanding the collection. Originally we had only 100,000 items when we acquired from Roja Muthaya's family. Now we have 500,000 items in the collection, and a lot of people are coming and donating collections, and this is being considered as one of the important repositories. For that matter, you know, as far as preservation is concerned, a lot of people are digitizing, and they think that is the end of everything and the beginning of preservation. We are really not sure about what's going to happen. So we don't believe that digitization is going to, we don't believe that technology is going to solve everything. I hope it will, but we want to be very careful. I think we are very conservative in that approach. We are very conservative archivists. We would like to preserve the original, we would like to microfilm, we will digitize, and we will keep the copies in many places. So that will be our approach.
Is the origin of paper from China, sir?
Sir?
Origin of paper. China?
Technology from China, of course.
They say
were
China.
the first to do all this. Many things were copied.
Producing papers from China.
Even though people say that the first printed book is available in South Korea, it's on, I think it's the Lotus Sutra. Yeah. We have a copy of that in the library. Anybody want to see it? And I've been to that archive where the typefaces are still preserved. But there is always a competition between China and that eastern region. I mean, who is first and all that. Like in India, the regional pride is always making the big thing, right? So.
What kind of plants were used to make papers? Different kind of plants, or only banyan? Plantain trees.
Now paper can be made into many things. Originally it was cotton.
Originally
it was only cotton. Cotton and papyrus.
So on that note,
Yes.
time.
Thank you.